carry-on luggage must be properly stored in a secure location.
With the brakes on. There we go. And we're off. A little bumpy. What? It's a little bumpy, but not bad.
Oh, I'm sorry. I cut off the circulation.
Well, the Potomac is really wide where it goes into the Chesapeake Bay. That's gotta be Atlantic City. Smooth landing. Here we are in the crown room, waiting for our flight with the hares. Drinks are free and the getting ready to take off from Kennedy Airport on the next leg to Brussels. Since they're about 6 hours difference, well, exactly 6 hours difference, it's just afternoon here. Well, we're getting ready to leave for Sweden.
$2.50 is good.
The ferry was just a very short distance from the airport. We're in the process of building a bridge, but it won't be ready until next May.
En så kallad master station. I den nödsituation ska man bege sig till den station som har samma färg som den sektor där man befinner sig.
This boat is a catamaran. I bet we're doing almost 30 miles an hour.
Ja, men han behöver inte det som du för. What's that?
Okay, this is chocolate and that's butterscotch. Butterscotch. I've got plenty more in salt. I wish I'd have remembered mine. Thank you, Ronnie. That's what we had to do.
21st of August, and decided that this was what he wanted to do. 16 years old, he saw a conjunction between Jupiter and Saturn. His observation is over 200 pages, and it did not appear until 1588. But it transferred comets from meteorology to astronomy.
We have stopped in Landskrona to wait about an hour for the ferry to Ven. As in Denmark, bicycles are very, very popular here too. Looks like lots of the streets in town here are cobblestone. This is the town square of Landskrona. And this is the boat we'll ride on to Ven. Energetic crew. And the boat is named appropriately Stjerneboom for Tycho Brahe's observatory. Big truck is just...
Där kommer så ut.
And here is our bus driver. And we're off. Surprised to see swans out here in the saltwater. This is a return to the island for us. Getting on this little thing to be pulled by tractor up to Uraniborg.
Oh boy. Where are the bikes?
This small reconstructed observatory of Stjerneboom was where Tycho Brahe made his accurate planetary measurements. Under these modern coverings are still the stone foundations that were excavated in late 1950s.
That's the classic George Reed phrase. I think we ran out of film.
Yes.
One small cellar here is the only part that's left of the original Uraniborg.
Probably would. Yeah.
Although I don't know.
Yeah.
The wheat is ripe and ready for harvest.
Hi, dogs.
Well, we're in Ystad. The time is Richmond time, but here it's 9:21 in the evening. And we're getting ready to get on the ferry. Well, it's about 5 in the morning. And a few people are up and stirring and getting ready to eat some breakfast. It's already light. The moon is progressing nicely toward full moon in a few days. And we are just now pulling into the port of Swinoujscie. Well, we're finally off the boat, but now we have to wait for the bus to get off the boat.
You read that down?
But you should have bought that elephant. Yeah. They have this little pen, amber, and the setting was made like an elephant.
Well, today we traveled, what, maybe 800 kilometers on roads like this, all the way to Krakow, stopping several times along the way. Stuck at the end of a long line.
Ja, jag tror också den här passar.
Well, that's exactly what it is. Time to take a stretch. Checking the GPS meter. And now we are losing coolant. stop to renew the coolant that we lost after the hose has been replaced, and we'll be on our way. Well, it's morning in Krakow. We got here late last night, about 10 o'clock, after a long day on the bus. We're staying in the Hotel Cracovia. I see the local theater next to us is playing Viej Nivoj, Star Wars Episode 1. Everybody had an absolutely huge breakfast. Here we are, approaching the gates of Auschwitz.
In September 1939, Poland was divided into two parts. Part of it was incorporated into the Third Reich, and also the Polish town of Oświęcim and the surrounding areas were made.
Jews and political prisoners from all over Europe were brought to Auschwitz from far away as Oslo and The Hague and Brussels and Paris and Rome. Most who arrived here were killed immediately. Only 400,000 prisoners passed through here, but over 1.5 million people were killed at this spot.
It was built right across the plant. Red spots mark the places of extermination. So the gas chamber in crematorium number 1, the wall of death and the collective gallows where executions were performed, and also in Wegenau, the unloading ramp where actually this extermination began with the finger of the assassin diverted into gas chambers, and they were years before the big ones were ready to work. And those red lines mark cremation pits where corpses were burned in the open air. Now we go upstairs to see the process of extermination of gas chambers.
Che è venuta qui, mandata subito, è stata mandata in camera a gas. Abbiamo già visto la foto, questa è lei. La gente ingannata, mandata in camera a gas, assicurata dai nazisti, andano a fare la doccia. E qua si vede un classico forno crematorio con la camera a gas. La gente scendeva giù, si spogliava, ha scritto docce. Per volta si parlano circa 2000 persone, era molto grande la camera, occupava attraverso questi fori al soffitto, venivano gettate dentro le pillole saturate di cianuro, che all'umidità e temperatura evaporavano e si sprigionava il gas, molto veloce.
These are the Cyclone B canisters that release the hydrogen cyanide. Hair was cut off the victims to use for textile.
Wszystko to okulary.
Just to find anything of value and show.
thousands of people were killed by shooting them against this wall. And this is the actual gas chamber that was used at Auschwitz. 700 to 800 people were put into this room at a time to be gassed. 70,000 corpses were burned in this crematorium.
So they just came back and built new houses.
Rejinka or Birkenau.
And that's the main gate leading to Birkenau. And on the left, those...
This is by far the much larger of the two prison camps here. The original Polish inhabitants of the village of Rejinka were told pack up and leave. Their houses were torn down and the bricks were used to build these first barracks here. Over 300 additional wooden barracks were built in these acres of land over here. Now all gone.
Birkenau was much larger. And this place here is this unloading ramp.
Trains carrying prisoners rolled right into the camp here through this gate. Children, women, men who looked weak, anyone who looked like they could not perform work was immediately sent to the gas chambers here. About 70,000 were cremated at Auschwitz. The balance of almost 1.5 million people died here at Birkenau. The existing row of wooden barracks is shown in the yellow rectangle here. All of the remaining buildings have been torn down. This pit holds the ruins of the actual gas chamber, where over 300,000 We're off to find the center of town. Old buildings, new technology. Well, we've reached the center square and it's huge. Someone said this is the biggest central square in all of Europe. Hi.
Hi.
We had a fabulous dinner here on the square. I'm out for an early morning walk, not too far from our hotel. And this is the fortress of Wawel. I keep coming on all sorts of little tiny squares, tiny by the comparison to the grand square. Streets seem to meander in lots of different directions here. This is the back side of the basilica on the main square. I don't think I've ever seen a cathedral this large made out of brick. Quite a different sight from Saturday night. On Sunday morning, the streets are almost empty. This is one of the gates to the old town. These little tiny Polish Fiats with a rear engine are all over the country. They're the smallest cars I think I've ever. About 2 hours drive south of Krakow. We've climbed the Tatras Mountains to about 4,000 feet, and now we're at the Slovak border getting ready for passport control. We've driven down out of the mountains there in Poland, and now we're on the Slovakian side. After lunch we'll take a little raft ride down the river that is also the border between Poland and Slovakia. We had a really wonderful meal here, and now we're getting ready to go on the raft trip down the river. These rafts are built in sections about 14 or 15 inches wide. Here you see them being brought back after trips down the river. They're all put together in sections 4 or 5 rafts wide, and then they become a regular boat. When they get to their destination, they're all disassembled into small pieces and put on a truck to be brought back to the starting place.
2 more people.
Really get the scenery.
There's the group in front of us.
It must be very shallow if they can haul it.
The support for their backs.
Yeah.
Two people to pull, one in the front, one in the back.
We haven't pulled the guy.
Yeah, you can see that it's very popular. There's probably 10 rafts in sight here. Looks like commuter traffic. This looks like a really popular summer place.
Right side is Slovakia. Left side is village Nižné Šromovce. Right side Červený Kláštor. Left mesto.
Great.
Jag ser en gräns under landet.
Yeah. Looks like the river is the place to come in August. As crowded as Virginia Beach.
Hi there. Are you enjoying yourselves?
Yes.
Stryk. Nå kommer vi til stryk. Stryk er på den siden, ikke på den her siden. Har du sett det? Den elva deler seg. Hvor går det unna?
Ja.
Go pretty fast with arrows.
Jeg hadde vært fabelaktig når jeg slapp.
Možno sa asi taký, počul som niekoľko rokov, pred mnohými rokmi, poľské počuť ťahli kone, pozdĺž, to neviete, kedy to bolo?
Cliffs here are just unbelievable.
Ja, det er sikkert hørt seg.
Det var kaldt det var.
Presne nejaký cukrík, možno by to pomohlo.
We're reaching the end of our trip. This is where the boats get disassembled and taken back to the beginning. We started here and we went all the way over to right here next to the border.
So there are many thermal pools, swimming pools here for swimming.
The high Tatras. After driving through the Tatras mountains, we ended up at Tatranska Lomnica at the Hotel Slovan. This pretty little house is out in front of the hotel.
By far the worst of the varieties are in Sweden. You get something called surströmming canned, and the first time I saw a can with surströmming, I was quite surprised, because at the time when they canned it, it's cylindrical.
Okay. It's great pressure inside.
And underwater in your kitchen sink. Must be underwater.
It's a long ride all the way up to the top of that peak. I don't know how long the ride will
somebody's got
take.
campfires down.
Well, down here is where we stayed. And then we walked looking for it down there and took this, you can't see it way down there, but this is the cable car path up through this station and then all the way up to here. And we're still not at the top of the mountain yet. Seems like we're not even halfway up yet, and yet from here to there is a shorter distance than from the bottom to where we are. This cable car ride is going to be unbelievable. The mountain's so steep the cable goes almost straight down. To right here.
Bortsett fra det at det sånn jeg kjente, når vi gikk opp her, så kjente jeg jo det at jeg var i høyden.
We'll be right there behind you.
Well, it looks like this is as close as we're going to get. We had to wait so long for tickets to ride up that the whole top of the mountain is in heavy clouds, and I don't see much point in taking a ride to the clouds. We'll probably head down from here. Does it have a name? After a long afternoon drive, we have finally reached the Hungarian border. We're told we may have to wait here for several hours for them to do the paperwork. This little swift, baby swift, is peering out of his nest. Here comes Mama. So everybody's found a place to sit down and have a little snack.
I don't think it's the sun, I think it's Mars.
Too hazy for a green flash?
Yes. Much.
It's about noon on August 10th, the day before the eclipse, and we are on the Pest side of the Duna or Danube River in Budapest. We're going to walk along the river and go across this bridge called the Chain Bridge over to the old Castle Hill on the Buda side of Budapest and walk around here. Before returning to this side and doing some shopping and then going on a tour of the city this afternoon. See the old castle ramparts here. Here's the Danube Princess with all the staterooms. This looks like it's a boat that may cover several countries. Really long. There's the end of it. Judging from the number of boats, it looks like this is a very popular thing to do. Docked along the side of the Danube, there are lots of restaurant buildings, but this one was kind of surprising. It's a car showroom. Traffic looks pretty busy here. And I don't think we're going to have enough time to go up the funicular to the Castle Hill. Off on the other side of the river on the Pest side is the Parliament House. Try that again now that the tour bus has gone past. This is the main pedestrians only shopping street in Pest. We're looking out over the old part of the city. The Royal Palace is built on the site of an old fortress, high on a hill overlooking the Danube River. On a further hill is a 14-meter high statue representing freedom, ironically built by the Russians. The oldest part of town on the Buda side was originally a Roman city built around the baths. This is the old concert hall. It was turned into a student dormitory during the Russian domination, but now it's a concert hall again.
Sides to the scene could mirror themselves in the 17th century, this country was first and the Turks painted the walls white.
Originala var målningsen och man tänkte på en ny konst, smak i orden.
Of the sitar. Cigar.
Alternativamente alternate. Vai,
Well, we did make it up to the Citadel before heading back to Balaton, and there's a fantastic view of the city from up here. Interesting contrasts between the old and the newer parts of the city. There's the chain bridge we crossed earlier. Lots of shops selling this beautiful, intricate embroidery. The Citadel itself commands a wonderful place to control all of the... Well, today is Eclipse Day, and although the clouds gathered last night and it rained during the night, they seem to be moving off toward the east, and we may have some scattered clouds. We're set up on the shore of Lake Balaton. And some are enjoying the sun, and some are getting cameras ready and telescopes. A very popular vacation spot.
This might be very different. I agree. I realize we have to take this more seriously. No, you don't.
And the eclipse has started. Now here's a clever little setup with a pair of binoculars and one lens taped and a projected image.
Ho filmat això o...?
Filmat no, però no hem portat. Fotografiat sí.
Clouds continue to drift across the face of the sun. It's almost, well, it's about a quarter covered now. We're hoping all these clouds will get out of the way before totality. It looks like we're going to have a cloudy eclipse.
Well, see, this comes narrower. India, yes.
All the shadows on the ground are little eclipse shapes. At this point, the light around the horizon is starting to look a little strange and dimmed. There are subtle differences I can't really catch on the camera as totality approaches. The sound level of people's voices is going up because people get more and more excited about the strange changing light level. Now about 10 minutes totality. We are still plagued with lots of now about 8 minutes left. Now the sky over here is getting much darker. We're probably less than 2 minutes away from totality.
Over there. Yeah.
There it comes.
Diamond ring.
Ah, there's Venus. There's Venus. Oh. Oh, it's beautiful.
Guarda che bello!
Oh, nice corona. And there's Venus. It's like sunset all around. Oh, and the moon is so beautiful. You can really see the corona well. I don't think I'm going to take...
Strömmar ut från solen.
Du ser den. Can't see it.
Jeg visste ikke det var du som arrangerte det der.
Late afternoon coming into Bratislava. Once again, we're crossing the Danube. Here it's called the Dunaj. Our hotel in Bratislava this evening is on a hill less than a quarter of a mile away from the Danube or Dunaj River. This is the main castle in Bratislava, located right next to the Parliament. On this high, steep hill overlooking the city have been fortifications since the 9th century. On the south side of the river there are huge blocks of apartment buildings.
New bridge on left side. Bridge, but not very good bridge. This is new bridge, but this is new bridge.
The Celts had a village here as long as 4,000 years ago.
Well, you will see just only stones. This is proud man. And if you put inside the coin, and this coin touch to the stone, you will hear oh, because it was a.
We're in the town of Lednice, heading for this big castle. There's a whole series of castles and residences right here that were built by the Liechtenstein royalty. I love the gargoyles on this church. Trophy hall here. They're taking the narwhal horn corn out of it. There's a beautiful vista from here across several ponds to the grounds of this building. Nice little dining hall, suitable for a few guests. Nice little library.
Self-supporting staircase leads to the first floor. So it is the library. Please look to the portal, which is made from old wood, natural style of New Gothic. It's handmade. Here, gentlemen, small and played cards. Out, there were oats.
Well, our hotel last night was very interesting. We stayed at a place called the Hotel Slovakia in the little tiny village of Veliki Popovice, a little ways outside of Prague. The hotel is just one long hall built under the seats of a sports stadium. There were no sports events, but rather the stadium was being used as a film studio. This kitchen truck outside has the list of all of the movies they've worked on, and virtually all of them, except a few, look like foreign films. Inside the stadium there are all sorts of sets where they're filming a German remake, low-budget version of 7 Days to Live. Last night we visited this National Telescope site, which has a 2-meter telescope used for studying stellar atmospheres. We have reached downtown Prague about 11 o'clock in the morning.
So, I shall leave it.
This is Wenceslaus Square, center of the old city.
Nice meeting you here.
Hello. Interesting combinations of old and new. This is the whole Wenceslaus Square.
Bridge. Then they discovered the remnants of a small bridge, which is visible now.
Down a side street is one of the old gates to the old city. This is the theater where Mozart's first performance of the opera Don Giovanni took place. This is the house where Johannes Kepler lived for some time when he came to work at the Charles University here in Praha. There's one of the old gates of the city. This is sort of like the large square in Krakow, but not as big. Don Rickles is not the only one that gets no respect. This tower has an absolutely marvelous astronomical clock. It has the days of the year all the way around the edge of this. Each of the old signs of the zodiac. The upper part of the clock is an astronomical astrolabe. The blue shows the sky above the horizon. The brown shows the sky from the horizon down to 18 degrees below the horizon, where astronomical night begins, and then the black when the sky is dark completely. The numbers in the blue are unequal hours, where the day is divided into 12 equal sections regardless of the time of the year. And here in Praha it can vary from summertime true hours of 18 down to wintertime hours of only 8 hours. In this astronomical type of observation, no matter the length of the day, it's divided into 12 equal places. Thus the varying widths of the hours in the blue part.
Some statues will be moving. For instance, the skeletons moving.
Time for a little delicious strudel. Fascinated by all of the little towers sticking out, maybe watchtowers from the very top of this cathedral.
Un bambino
Elaborate paintings all over the front of this building. Almost all of the buildings around this square are elaborate in their decoration. The church where Tycho Brahe lies buried. Currently undergoing some renovation. beautiful old Praga car is a far cry from today's Skoda. Very unusual sundial up on the tower of this building. I'm constantly amazed at the number of people in the streets.
Stay in this house. Kepler wrote, for instance, his Dissertatio cum Sidereus Nuncius, or he wrote a treatise about snowflakes, where he put some basic ideas of crystallography.
This is the house that Kepler purchased after being in Prague for a few years. At the top he had an observatory. What are they thinking about this?
Oh, hey, Buzz.
This end of the bridge was positioned especially so that at summer solstice the sun would come up directly behind the spire of the church on the other side of the river. There are so many fascinating things to look at in all directions that we're sort of on eyeball overload. If you had months to spend here, you couldn't see it all.
Si rallenti, ci fa sparare, c'è uno sguardo. Solo il principio.
The man who's showing us around says today is a relatively quiet day.
On the opposite side there is
Unas barracas.
The house had a sign of
Another one of these old sundials. The horizontal bar shows shadow on different parts of the wall during different times of the day.
1648.
Came over here and those shown.
More than this here.
Our last accommodation in Czechia is in the middle of a huge apartment complex. We were scheduled at one hotel, the Globus, and we got there and they were overbooked. So they called around and they found us this place in the middle of this community on the outskirts of Prague. Very clean with feather comforter, a real shower with and a beautiful restaurant on the 22nd floor. The Shrams will be going to the airport with us early in the morning. 5:45 we leave, so we're having a last celebration dinner together. Up before dawn this morning at 5 o'clock to get ready so we can get out to the airport to catch our plane to Stockholm. Well, Tom's met us at the airport at Arlanda, and we're on the way to his house and stopped to see some rune stones. This one has a wonderful dragon on it. It's all the way around the edge of the stone.
Again, it's got your stats at the end of
And you can read it?
it. I just know that one word.
You're saying they're late because of their subject matter?
Late period, the style.
Style.
And the rune style.
This one was found on the grounds of the church when it was built. The stone itself is over 1,000 years old. It's interesting, the bell tower from the church is all the way across the street on the other side. And here's another one that was carved about 1,000 years ago, and the runes on it say that 4 brothers had this carved in honor of their father, who died as a Viking warrior in Greece. Here's the Swedish equivalent of a Walmart, where we're stopping on the way to Tom's house. Tom's going to drive the car on, we'll walk on to the ferry to his island. The ferry goes from Vauxhall across the sound to Tom and Mariana's island.
And it looks like a building going by, but when you see it from out in the channel where the big ferry boats go by, it looks like it's a little toy. So you can see it here. So it just went by our house now. Literally by the house. what they're doing.
I really cannot find my camera. I mean, I don't think I lost one.
Oh, it's on. First signal. 8:22 means get. That's the little one that we saw go in earlier. That one's
Going into
going.
Stockholm?
No, it's coming out. Yeah, we saw it coming into Stockholm earlier, but now this one's going out. This one's on its way to Obo.
His eyes, his nose, and his mouth.
Just bring them in.
It's soon done.
Big George.
Ah. Better the farther up you are.
Wow! I see all the people.
Along the horizon behind there, you can't see
Like
them
it
yet.
is right in front of us. Down.
First down around your neck.
Have to have it around your neck.
Yeah.
Talk
Upside
normal,
down.
okay? No baby talk.
Beautiful Swedish woodpecker this morning out on the lawn.
Yeah, there's no inside. And once it gets them stirred up, of course, they swarm out of the nest.
Yeah, really.
Great place to have breakfast.
It's very.
Here comes the whole family of swans. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7
Pretty
babies.
big.
Yeah.
Almost as big as their parents.
Yep. Yep.
Just don't have the colors yet.
That's a big, big bunch.
And the parents riding herd, one at each end.
Yeah.
We're taking an afternoon ride to Stockholm. The archipelago of islands here around Stockholm contains thousands of small islands, literally. This ferry boat makes a number of stops at different islands along the way.
came over on and we'll go back out on. This is the furthest island of the archipelago serviced by ferry. The streets here are all just little gravel paths. Here comes an old steam-powered ferry, probably over 100 years old, still running. You see striations in the rocks where the glaciers have ground other rocks against this, all long lines.
Killing things? No. Oh, I saw the building. Yeah. That'll be fun.
She got in.
There's... Good girl. Oh my gosh, it's a lot. Oh, I feel pretty good.
Is it soft? Strong and healthy body.
Oh, you have sand all over you.
Wait a minute, don't go yet. Look at me.
You knew you didn't do this as a kid, Jane?
I don't know. I love the water.
Here comes the steamboat. Good. But I guess it's not. You should ship me. Have I got the schedule or what? Find the one?
There's one in my bag.
That would be the cool stuff.
That would be fun, except there's not enough time.
That's the boat.
This is a pretty amazing view from your front yard.
Down towards Daxholm and then it was the water around that way. So I think the little guys like that can see.
Today we've ridden into town with Tom, and first stop is the Natural History State Museum where he works. It's a beautiful dome. Now we're going from the university campus through the subway to Gamlastan, the old part of town. And here we are in Gamlastan with its cobbled streets and narrow spaces between buildings. A little cross traffic, but mostly just pedestrians. Interesting relics just become part of the landscape. Here's an old cannon to protect the corner of this building where it's been incorporated an old Viking runestone.
Finnish king lived in Denmark.
And he came here to visit.
In the wintertime, a really nice Christmas market in here. Christmas.
There we are at the National Palace. Which overlooks the harbor. Interesting spire on this church. It's all open fretwork. The guards at the palace have old costumes and modern weapons. Inside with the star kick. There's a very famous astronomical painting. Elaborate carving of St. George slaying the dragon. I think Stockholm has one of the prettiest harbors in the whole world.
It's like a water dock that direction out there. Out of fun, the highlight of the building.
The water here in the harbor is so clean, people catch salmon here. Now here's an interesting study in contrast. A powered Viking ship. Today we've gone with Mariana to her museum, the Technical Museum. We're going to look around here for a while before heading back to town. We're walking over to the old area of Skansen and saw this flock of geese that looks so much different than the Canada geese that we're used to. Two little old steamboats. I guess these are all apartments along here. What a view. I don't know whose house it is, but it sure is neat. Where we stayed last time we were here. Returning to old stomping grounds. All the subway stations are decorated in different themes, but of course the university station has sort of an instructional theme here. From lengths of rivers to talking about weather and shore life, all sorts of stuff, including astronomy and plate tectonics and geology. It was interesting, this escalator was stopped until we walked up close to it, and then it starts. They don't keep it running all the time. It's a good thing, it's a long climb up. We're getting an earlier start this morning, leaving from Rinde for Stockholm. about 9 o'clock in the morning to spend the day wandering around the city. Right now we're just waiting for the ferry boat to come over. I wish I could record this, the wonderful smell.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've only come a couple kilometers and we've already made, what, 3 stops?
Something they never go on, but
Yeah. Yeah.
Are we just getting closer to that one, or is it coming this way?
They balance each other.
Oh, they do.
Har du hittat det, mamma?
What is it doing? Removing? What is it doing?
Take away the wood, the leftovers from the wood.
So it's
Samma
making it
cirkelgård.
like what you were saying earlier, but
Then the fibers have to be separated.
I guess you could actually do this without the milk.
Finished. Flax fibers are very fine, and then this is spun into linen. Right across from Wisconsin is where Mariana works at the Technical Museum.
Bad!
Oh, it's in the water
Han kanske nyss har vaknat och håller på att bada. Morgonbada. Och där bakom granruskan.
Från Jämtland som du och jag. För 4 verser innan jag fick stå på henne. Ja, men det låter inte så värst mycket.
Another interesting kind of mill where the water is diverted out of a little brook down underneath where it shoots into a little sideways paddle wheel.
When Christina, she is the daughter of the farm, and she got married with Åke, and he
is, he was farmhand on the farm when they get married. 12th of June 1860.
Really interesting.
Bed.
Okay. Oh yeah.
The ceilings in here are about 5 feet high. I wish I'd caught the cow ducking through the door. Beautiful view of the city from up here. This old windmill looks very similar in design to one that's in this other one right next to the first one. Is built with the same design, which includes a hanging stairway and a long lever so that the whole thing can be swung around and faced into the wind. Tiny, tiny, tiny little garden houses. About 8 square meters for the whole house. Place where you could spend the night while you were tending your garden. I've seen several storks, but this is the first time I've seen one up close. This is the biggest midsummer pole that I've seen. Really stopping at a shopping center on the way home. It's yet another beautiful day, our last day before heading home.
Yeah, but they don't live here. They come from someplace else, aren't they, kid?
They're called Krefter.
Yeah, which is crayfish, see? Crayfish.
Oh, well, that's a pretty fancy last dinner here in Sweden. Wow.
Well, it's their last dinner for sure.
Yeah.
What is that premiere?
Crayfish premiere.
Crayfish.
Excuse to eat a little bunch of crustaceans that have been boiled in dill and drink a lot of schnapps. Sir, it's no socially redeeming thing other than get really swacked.
So it's not really a national holiday or anything?
It's not official, no. But everybody does it.
Daddy, why didn't you
This is
take
the
the
first
one
time
also, the one that didn't have any colors at all that you could see?
Take pictures of them. Tell me when
I've
you
got
quit
about
holding it up.
60 seconds worth of film left, so tell me about this.
Tell them about that. Tell them
Oh, Swedish crayfish. Or actually
a
no.
festival. What is the festival?
It's Turkish
Because
crayfish
the DC-3
cooked the Swedish way. That's what
The
it is.
DC-3 just
What
went
is the
by.
festival? Is it every August?
Yes, it's every August.
Just eat a lot of crayfish?
Yeah, they eat a lot of crayfish and they drink a lot of booze.
That's two out of two. Are you gonna have some crayfish on?
Ett svart hål är så otroligt massivt och kompakt att inget kan undfly dess dragningskraft.